There is no box here, even though it's an original figure. But is it any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at this MAFEX number 165 Ironman, but this one is actually a so-called factory reject, one of those that can be found on AliExpress, which is where I got it from, and a big thank you to Salix Wholesale Toy Store for sending it for a review. In case you want to get this figure, you can do so over my link in the video description. Now, what a factory reject is, basically, is an original figure made by the original company, in this case MAFEX, but the figure did not pass their quality control test, and that is why it got rejected. And then, because all of these figures are being made in China, AliExpress sellers somehow got them and are selling them on that platform. So because it's a reject, it could have some minor defects, and it could be missing some parts, accessories, and even paint on some pieces. If you were following my previous news videos where I was covering all of these rejects, you know that human faces on all of them are left unpainted. If you plan on getting these figures, you will have to paint those faces yourself. As you can see, this guy comes without the box, and that is something that is stated on the listing. So because we have no packaging here, we can move forward and get this figure out of this plastic bag. Here is our factory reject Ironman out of the bag, and honestly, even though my expectations were not that high, I have to say that I love what I got here. The figure came in one piece, so nothing broke. Color imperfection is seen on a few spots, but it's nothing terrible. It's mostly like few dots of colors, almost like paint chipping, but again, it's not a big deal. In fact, because it is a reject, I was expecting it to have more issues. Here's how the figure looks in a neutral pose, and it's around 16 centimeters tall, because it is in that 1/12 scale. Now, the only issue with the joints is the legs being slightly loose when you pull them down like this. See? Then they start flopping around. That's the only real issue. It is also something that can be fixed, but I wanted to point it out. I had one more. I just remembered the waist down here was stuck. This did not want to move, and so what I did, I just heated up the plastic with a hairdryer for a couple of seconds. The plastic got softer, and then I slightly moved the joint left to right, and now it works just fine. Taking a closer look at the details and starting off with the head, you can see a few small dots of plastic imperfection and also some paint chipping. These are really tiny and you won't even notice them looking at the figure standing on your shelf. The rest of the head looks nice and clean, but here right away I want to point out the first thing that is missing in this rejected set, and that is the eyepiece. Namely, this faceplate is removable. And here we have this black piece, but in the original release there should also be an alternate piece with human eyes, so that you could have an alternate look with eyes being visible through the helmet. Personally, I don't mind it not being here because this is the look that I would go with anyway, but I'm just pointing it out so that you know what's missing, just in case you decide to buy this. The chest looks good with this reactor, which is a clear plastic, and then the two sculpted details. Arms look good for the most part. There is a little bit of paint imperfection on this side here. There is a little bit of issue here, and also when you pull out the butterfly joint, there is like a trail of glue, and it's like that on both sides. But fortunately, that will be hidden most of the time. Gloves look beautiful with these sculpted lines. Then we have the crotch piece with these two side plates. They are just hanging down with these loops. The legs also look good for the most part. There are a few small paint scratches, but again, nothing too terrible. The boots also look good. Here they are from the back. And on the bottom we have this circle here not being filled up with white paint like this one. Here is the back of the figure. Everything looks good. And down here we have the Marvel logo, confirming that this is an original licensed product. Let's now take a look at articulation of this guy. The head and the neck give you a nice range of movement. He can look side to side. He has a beautiful side to side tilt. This is how far he can look down because his faceplate clashes with the plastic around the neck. And here is how far he can look up. We already saw his butterfly joints. They look like this. The arms go out because they are on a hinge here. And so with those, here is how far the arms can go across the chest. But these butterfly joints don't move back, so this is how far the arms go across the back. Arms rotate 360. This is how far they move out. There is a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, a swivel in the wrist, and a hinge in all directions. directions. We have 2 cuts in the torso, and each of these will give you side-to-side rotation and a nice side-to-side tilt. As we already saw, these plates are on a hinge, so they do move up and down. We have drop-down hips, and this is how far the legs go out. This is how far they move forwards and back. We have a thigh swivel, double-jointed knees, a swivel in the ankles, feet move forward, back. We have a toe joint, and a generous ankle pivot. Let's now take a look at his accessories, and right away I have to say that there is another thing missing here, and it's a big one. It's that huge proton cannon. You don't get that with this reject. You also don't get a stand, so if you want to put this guy in a flying pose, you will need to give him some other stand. But we do get an alternate faceplate, and this is the one that has like a nose poking out. And then we get this unmasked Tony Stark head with a neck, and as you can see, the face is not painted. The hair is, but there is a piece of hair missing. If this was made like a separate piece, I don't understand why, but it is missing, so in case you get this figure, it will need some customizing. But then we get alternate pair of feet with these small wheels at the bottom, and then a few different pairs of hands. A pair of fisted hands is already on the figure, but then for some reason, and I think that this is a mistake, we get another fisted hand and one grabbing hand, and I assume that there should be a pair of grabbing hands. We get a pair of relaxed hands, and these come on this sprue, and then a pair of his flying / salute hands. We get this pair of open hands, then this pair of open hands, and finally the same pair of open hands, but with these pegs. And that is because we also get a pair of these effects that peg into the palms like this. And the final pair of accessories are these blast effects. They are meant to be used for his feet, and these plug in here without any issues. Switching out the hands is also easy. Here is how the wrist peg looks, and we can give him his alternate firing hand, and this looks beautiful. We can also switch out to the faceplate, and here is how that looks. And finally, here is how the unmasked head looks on this body. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. First of all, here is how he scales with Marvel Legends, Iron Man, and this is the one that came in a 2-pack with Thanos, and then the SH Figuarts Iron Man, and I forgot which one this is, one of the SHF Iron Mans, but here you can see the scale between the 3 figure lines. And then here is how he scales with Marvel Legends Classic Suit Captain America and Maximum Series Spider-Man. Here he is next to another MAFEX factory reject that I got from AliExpress, the Nightfall Batman, and on the other side, Dyson Captain Planet. Here is how he scales with AC Factory Ultron and Mass Toys Symbiote Spidey, City Toys copy of Batman Hush, and the so-called Link Factory knockoff of MAFEX Spider-Man 2099. Here he is with City Toys knockoffs of Brown Suit Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man, SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker, City Toys knockoff of Rivaltech Agent Venom, and AliExpress knockoff of 2.0 Deadpool, and then MAFEX Classic Suit Spidey and Daredevil, Star Wars The Black Series Vader and Stormtrooper, and then here is how he scales with some larger figures. We have him next to the LPZZ Arkham Batman and Fonjoy Superman, NECA TMNT Movie Raphael and Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man, NECA Feral Predator and Savage Crucible Veteris Repax, and finally with YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series, Optimus and Starscream. So there you go, that was my look at MAFEX number 165, Iron Man, a factory reject from AliExpress. With it not passing the quality control test, I was expecting much more issues, but I ended up really liking what I got. Sure, there are some issues with some accessories missing, but honestly, that doesn't bother me that much. I already have a lot of flight stands, so I can always give one to this guy, and I probably wouldn't even use that proton cannon even if I had it. So all in all, I can confirm that this factory reject Iron Man is a great figure to get if you still don't have it. It costs half the price, and there's nothing really wrong with the figure. You will have to paint the unmasked head if you want that look for this guy, but that's it. Once again, a big shout out to Salix Wholesale Toy Store from AliExpress for making this review possible. And if you want to get this figure, you can do so over the link in the description. You've heard my thoughts, and now I would love to hear you guys. What do you think about this figure? Are you bothered by the issues that it has? Do you plan on getting it? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.